Why do so many people still hate Max Stirner over 150 years after he died? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. He was even called sexist by some for claiming women were only good for two things, either being a prostitute or a housewife. The traditional nuclear family consists of a married couple and their children living together as a single unit. In addition to challenging traditional gender roles and family structures, Stirner also challenged the way we think about love and expectations, including those related to sex, gender roles, marriage, and family. He believed that we should not blindly conform to societal norms, but rather that we should question them and decide for ourselves what we believe in. He recognized that societal norms often serve to control and oppress individuals, and that they can be used to enforce traditional gender roles, limit sexual freedom, and maintain social hierarchies. For example, societal norms often dictate that women should be submissive and obedient to men, that they should conform to traditional gender roles, and that they should be punished for engaging in premarital sex. These norms are harmful, and they limit women's freedom and autonomy. Similarly, societal norms around marriage and monogamy restrict people's sexual freedom and force them into relationships that may not be in their best interest. Stirner argued that we should reject these norms and that we should instead be guided by our own values and desires. By challenging societal norms and expectations, individuals can break free from the constraints of tradition and create their own unique paths in life. It takes courage to go against the grain, but the rewards can be great. When we break free from the constraints of tradition, we open up the possibility for new and exciting experiences. We can explore different ways of being and relating to others, and we can create our own unique paths in life. Of course, this doesn't mean that we should reject all norms and expectations. There are some things that are universally accepted as right and good, but we should be willing to question societal norms and expectations and to be willing to change them when they are no longer serving us. He argued that our ideas about love are largely a product of social conditioning, and that we re-taught to feel a certain way about certain people because of the roles they play in our lives. Stirner was a true revolutionary thinker who was not afraid to challenge the status quo. His ideas may have been radical for his time, but they are still relevant today, and they continue to challenge the way we think about relationships, gender roles, and societal norms. What do you think? Do you agree with Stirner that love is a social construct, that monogamy is oppressive, and that traditional gender roles are harmful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching, not because of any natural or biological imperative. For example, we might feel like we're supposed to love our parents because they sacrificed so much for us and brought us into this world. Or we might feel like we're supposed to love our romantic partners because they make us feel special and cherished. But according to Stirner, these feelings aren't natural or inevitable. They're the result of social conditioning, and they can be unlearned. Once we realize that love is a social construct, we're free to love whoever we want to love in whatever way we want to love them. And we're no longer bound by the traditional gender roles and family structures that have constrained our love lives for so long. This is a truly liberating idea. It allows us to break free from the constraints of tradition and to explore our own unique ways of loving and being loved. It also allows us to challenge the status quo and to create new possibilities for ourselves and for future generations. By questioning the social construction of love, we can create a more just and equitable world for all. Stirner questioned the necessity of this arrangement and suggested that it was simply a product of social convention rather than a natural or biological imperative. Now let's dive deeper into Stirner's views on marriage and monogamy. You see, Stirner didn't just question the institution of marriage in general. He also challenged one of its fundamental aspects, monogamy, the idea that people should only have one partner at a time. According to Stirner, Monogamy was nothing more than a social construct designed to control people as sexual desires and to maintain social order. He believed that people should be free to have multiple partners if they so desired, and that monogamy was a form of oppression that restricted people as sexual freedom. Now, it's important to note that Stirner wasn't advocating for casual or meaningless sexual encounters. He believed that each individual should be able to decide for themselves what kind of relationships they wanted to have, and that these relationships should be based on mutual consent and respect. So what did Stirner propose instead of monogamy? Well, he didn't offer a specific alternative, but he did suggest that people should be free to explore whatever kind of relationships they felt would fulfill their needs. This could include open relationships, polyamorous relationships, or any other type of relationship that the individuals involved felt comfortable with. In a way, Stirner was calling for a kind of sexual anarchy, a world where people were free to explore their sexuality without the constraints of social norms or expectations. While this may seem radical, it is important to remember that Stirner was a revolutionary thinker who was challenging the status quo in every aspect of life. And his ideas about monogamy and marriage are no exception. He believed that people should be free to choose what kind of family structure they want to live in, and that this should include single-parent households, polyamorous relationships, and other non-traditional arrangements. This was a radical idea at a time when the nuclear family was seen as the fundamental building block of society. But Stirner was willing to question everything, and he saw no reason why people should be confined to the traditional nuclear family structure if they didn't want to be. But in reality, his views were much more complex than this. When we look at his writings, it becomes clear that Stirner believed that both men and women should be liberated from traditional gender roles and expectations. He argued against the idea that women should be confined to the domestic sphere, and that they should be able to pursue their own goals and desires, just like men. Stirner also criticized the double standards that existed for men and women. For example, he pointed out that men were allowed to have multiple sexual partners, while women were punished for doing the same thing. He believed that both men and women should be free to make their own decisions about their own bodies without being judged or stigmatized by society. It's important to note that Stirner's views on gender roles were way ahead of his time. He lived in a time when women were largely seen as property and didn't have the same rights as men. Despite this, he was able to see beyond these limitations and imagine a world where gender roles were more fluid and where both men and women were free to be themselves. His ideas may have been extreme, but here are 5 reasons why Max Stirner still challenges modern relationships. Number 1. Challenging traditional gender roles. In Stirner's time, men were considered superior to women. Number 2. Challenging the nuclear family structure. Another way that Stirner challenged traditional gender roles is by questioning the nuclear family structure. Number 3. Challenging the social construction of love. Number 4. Stirner's views on marriage and monogamy. Number 5. Challenging societal norms and expectations. One of the most radical things about Stirner as philosophy is that he challenged every aspect of societal norms. So there you have it, 5 ways that Max Stirner's ideas still challenge modern relationships.